Hello folks. So I made a wee bit of a blunder trying to make this video today. I didn't have enough storage on my phone, so the video cut off after about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I restarted it, and I didn't realise that having videos on your YouTube meant that your storage was big. So I had 23 gigabyte of storage on my YouTube app, which then meant the second video I started got cut off short. If that, just in case that happens to you, if your YouTube app is full, you just simply delete the app and reinstall it, and it will delete all of the data that's in it. But any videos that you've uploaded previously don't get deleted because they're attached to your account already. But anyway, I'm going to splice together the videos, the 2B videos that I've made so far, and I'll put them on. This is Angel, little Angel, my cat. I have two. The other one's sleeping over there, but I'm not going to turn my camera around. But as I said, I'll add these two together, put it up as a wee video, and then I'll do another video tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a wee bit more all one piece and a bit clearer. So, thank you. All the best. Hi folks, welcome back. Today I'm going to make a wee video about this book, 1001 Inventions, Muslim Heritage in Our World. Chief editor Professor Salim T.S. Al-Hassani and co-editors Elizabeth Woodcock and Dr. Rabah Saud. A foundation for science, technology and civilization. So there's quite a lot to be read in this, so you enjoy it. So I'll start with the foreword. I welcome this fascinating book as a significant contribution to a wider understanding of science and technology within Muslim civilization, and of our debt in modern societies to this particular tradition. Within any particular culture, such as the Western and Anglo-centric tradition, it is all too easy to forget or downplay the complex history of the development of scientific ideas and technological inventions. Science and technology, in some shape or form, exist and develop within all types of societies and in the context of all shades of religious belief. Ultimately, it matters not exactly who or exactly when a particular discovery or invention was made. However, this book is a welcome reminder that Muslims have made many important and far-reaching contributions to the development of our shared scientific knowledge and our technologies. I hope it will be an inspiration to people of both Muslim and other faiths, and indeed to those with no religious belief, demonstrating the ways in which science helps reveal the wonders of the natural world, and through which technology makes such a contribution to the ways in which we can work together with each other. And that was the foreword by Sir Roland Jackson, Chief Executive of the British Association for the Advancement of Science. So I'll just briefly run over the chapter headings. So chapter 1 is around the home, chapter 2 is the school, chapter 2 is market, chapter 4 is the hospital, chapter 5 the town, chapter 6 the world, and chapter 7 the universe. So I'm going to just start picking out some random sections now. So as soon as I currently have a cup of coffee next to me at the moment. I'm going to start with the first on the coffee trail. So, on the coffee trail. 1.6 billion cups of coffee are drunk worldwide every day. That's enough to fill nearly 300 Olympic-sized swimming pools every day. And if you don't have a jar of coffee in your kitchen, you're probably in the minority. Coffee is a global industry and is the second largest commodity-based product. Only oil beats it. More than 1,200 years ago, hard-working people fought to stay awake without this stimulant until a herd of curious goats and their watchful master, an Arab named Khalid, discovered this simple, life-changing substance. As they grazed on the Ethiopian slopes, he noticed they became lively and excited after eating a particular berry. Instead of just eating the berries, they were taken and boiled to create al-qahwa. Sufis in Yemen drank al-qahwa for the same reasons we do today, to stay awake. They could now concentrate during late night dhikr (prayers in remembrance of Allah). It spreads to the rest of the Muslim world through travellers, pilgrims and traders reaching Mecca and Turkey in the late 15th century and Cairo in the 16th century as a popular beverage. It was a Turk named Pasqua Rossi, a merchant in 1650 CE, who first brought coffee into the United Kingdom, selling it in a coffee house in George Yard, Lombard Street, London. 8 years later, another cafe called Sultana's Head was opened in Cornhill. Lloyd's of London, which is depicted here, the Lloyd's Coffee House. Lloyd's of London, today a famous insurance company, was originally a coffee shop called Edward Lloyd's Coffee House. By 1700, there were about 500 coffee houses in London and nearly 3,000 in the whole of England. They were known as penny universities because you could listen and talk with the great minds of the day for the price of a coffee, a penny, which was then 1/120th of a pound. The consumption of coffee in Europe was largely based on the traditional Muslim preparation of the drink. This entailed boiling the mixture in coffee powder, sugar and water together, which left a coffee residue in the cup because it was not filtered. However, in 1683, a new way of preparing and drinking coffee was discovered, and it became a coffee house favourite. Cappuccino coffee was inspired by a certain Marco d'Aviano, a priest from the Capuchin monastic order who was fighting against the Turks besieging Vienna in 1683. Following the retreat of the Turks, the Viennese made coffee from abandoned sacks of Turkish coffee. Finding it too strong for their taste, they mixed it with cream and honey. This made the colour of coffee turn brown, resembling the colour of the Capuchin's robes. The Viennese then named it cappuccino in honour of Marco d'Aviano's order, and since then cappuccino has been drunk for its enjoyable, smooth taste. This below is a 16th century manuscript showing a coffee house with men drinking coffee. Coffee is the common man's gold, and like gold, it brings to every person the feeling of luxury and nobility. A quote from Sheikh Abd al-Qadir, who wrote the earliest known history of coffee manuscript in 1588. I'll pick something from the next one now. I'll go with libraries, since I'm reading books. Okay. Libraries. With the appearance of the television, it was predicted that the shelf life of books faced certain doom, but books have held their own. The introduction of the internet was the next big challenge, but they still continue to enthrall both young and old. Books have weathered the coming of greater entertainment technology, such as Books have weathered the coming of greater entertainment technology as academic treatises, magic books, adventures, thrillers, romantic stories, and biographies. Today, like 1,000 years ago, they still draw, captivate, and inspire people into their silent, personal world, and there is nowhere that this world exists more than in the corridors and bookcases of libraries. Just a moment to take a drink. Books, manuscripts, and treatises covering every area of Muslim science, technology, and arts were produced in astronomical proportions. Right from the 8th century, Muslims began producing books because they knew how to make paper and because they were greatly encouraged to record all their experiments. The Abbasid Caliph Al-Ma'mun paid translators the weight of each book in gold that they translated from Greek into Arabic. This produced a vast stack of books, commanding the attention and respect of following generations, Muslim and non-Muslim. Before the science books came the very first book in Islam in the 7th century. This was the Quran, which was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad in the form of messages called ayats or verses. These were immediately memorized by several companions and written down by scribes on whatever material was available, like leaves, cloth, bones, and stones. The earliest full copy of the book was kept by Hafsa, the daughter of the second Caliph Omar. The arrangements of the verses were in chapters or surahs, and the location of each chapter was personally checked and revised by the Prophet himself. Several copies existed, but most of these contained personal explanatory notes by the owners. All these copies needed to be collected to produce a single standard copy without additional comments, and that was also checked against the original version of Hafsa. This copy of the Quran was produced by Uthman ibn Affan, the third Caliph, which led to the standardization of reading and writing styles and made it easier to spread. Copies of this 1400-year-old Ottoman manuscript are still available in major libraries of the world, and the present copy of the Quran is an authentic duplication of this original 7th century manuscript. Developing strong attachments to books meant Muslims also loved book collecting and establishing libraries. There were public and private libraries, with a huge network of public libraries in mosques and most big cities, plus prestigious private collections which attracted scholars from all parts of the Muslim world. The books or manuscripts in them were about the size of the modern book, containing good quality paper with writing on both sides and bound in leather covers. Public book collections were so widespread that it was impossible to find a mosque, the learning institution, without a collection of books. Before the Mongols decimated Baghdad in 1258, it had 36 libraries and over 100 book dealers, some of whom were also publishers, employing a corps of copyists. There were similar libraries in Cairo, Aleppo, and the major cities of Iran, Central Asia, and Mesopotamia. Mosque libraries were called Dar al-Khutub, or the House of Books, and they were famous, and they were the focus of intellectual activity. Here, writers and scholars dictated the results of their studies to mixed audiences of young people, other scholars, and interested laymen. Anyone and everyone could take part in the discussions. Professional warraqs or scribes then copied and turned them into books. Even when the books were especially commissioned, they would still be published this way. Aleppo in Syria probably had the largest and oldest mosque library, called the Sufia, as the city's grand Umayyad mosque, with a collection of 10,000 volumes. These were reportedly bequeathed by the city's most famous ruler, Prince Saif al-Dawla. Sufia was the oldest and largest, but the library at the Zaytuna Mosque College complex in Tunis was possibly the richest of all. It had 10,000 books, and it is said that most rulers of the Hafsid dynasty competed with each other for the prestige associated with maintaining and strengthening this library. So at one point, the collection exceeded 100,000 books. This is the Zaytuna Mosque and College complex in Tunis, first built in 732 and then restored. If you've never been in these courtyards, these Islamic courtyards, they're amazingly cooling. Like, I've not been in Tunisia, but I lived in Spain and visited a lot in Andalusia. And you can be outside and it'd be whatever, 26, 27 degrees, 28 degrees Celsius and roasting, boiling hot. And then you come in here and they've built these places in such a way that it cools you down completely. They're phenomenal. The way that they adapted the land was just absolutely brilliant. There's an Arabic proverb: there can be no education without books. Let me see what other pick one from the marketplace this time. I reckon the checkout. Right down. Page 146. Check it. In the past, money has been alive as camels, cattle, or sheep. Pardon me, I'll start that again. In the past, money has been alive as camels, cattle, or sheep were used to pay for goods. In the time of Ibn Battuta, the 14th century Muslim traveller, the Maldives used cowrie shells as currency, as they were highly treasured and prized, and reached distant regions like Mali and West Africa. Today we use plastic money, notes and coins, but this is a small quantity compared to the amount of invisible, intangible money shooting around the world as the financial markets make their electronic transfers. One day our coins and notes may be as useful as Ibn Battuta's cowrie shells would be today. Dar al-Islam, or the Muslim world, spread its wings, even under separate rulers or sultans, using gold and silver coins as international currency. If we are globetrotting today, we either take travellers' checks or risk having different purses full of different currencies. But in the 14th century, travellers in the Muslim land could scour every market, nook and cranny, and choose dinars and dirhams from capital cities to the smallest village. Step outside the Muslim world and transactions were a different story. Again, Ibn Battuta can tell us a lot about the world nearly 700 years ago, as he had a surprising financial experience in China. He said, "The people of China buy and sell with pieces of paper the size of the palm of the hand, which are stamped with the Sultan's stamp. If anyone goes to the bazaar with a silver dirham or dinar, it is not accepted and he is disregarded." I've still got my cold, so please excuse. In the 7th and 8th centuries, money was very much made of gold and silver, and Muslims made their coin according to the Quran, which said, "When you measure, give an exact measure and weigh with an accurate scale." Surah 17:35. So it was the Caliph's responsibility to ensure the purity and weight of the coins, and the standard was established by the Sharia law as 7 mithqals of gold to 10 dirhams of silver. Any coins that didn't weigh up, foreign currency and old coins, were brought to the mint along with gold and silver bullion to be refined and struck into new currency. At the mint, the bullion was first examined to determine its purity before being heated and made according to established alloy standards. Both dinars and dirhams were used by different Muslim rulers. The first caliph to make his own coins was Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, who ruled from 685 to 705 CE. These dinars were the first gold coins with an Arabic inscription, As before, money had been silver Sassanid coins and gold and copper Byzantine coins. By making his own coins in 691 or 692, Caliph Abd al-Malik could now keep his rule independent from Byzantium and unify all Muslims with one currency. This new coin was copied from the Byzantine currency, the solidus. It was similar in both size and weight, and on the face were 3 standing figures, like the Byzantine coin, which had the figures of Heracles, Heraclius, Constantine, and Heracleonis. A big difference was the Arabic testimony of Islam surrounding the design on the reverse. In the name of God, there is no deity but God. He is one, Muhammad is the messenger of God. The Byzantine emperor was furious with this development, as new money meant competition, and he refused to accept it, responding with a new coin. This angered Caliph Abd al-Malik, who made another coin and with an upright figure of the Caliph wearing an Arab headdress and holding a sword, again with testimony of Islam. This coin was dated on the reverse, and only 8 of these early Arab Byzantine dinars, dated according to the new Islamic calendar, have survived. The coin throwing continued, and true to form, the Byzantine emperor replied with yet another, and at this point, in 697, the Caliph had had enough and introduced the first Islamic coin without any figures. On both sides of this new dinar were verses from the Quran, which made each piece an individual message of faith. He then issued a decree making it the only currency to be used throughout Umayyad lands. All remaining Byzantine and Arab Byzantine pieces had to be handed to the treasury to be melted down and restruck. Those who did not comply faced the death penalty. There are 2 fabled Islamic coins, the 1000 muhurs and the 100 muhurs. The first weighed in at 12 kilos of pure gold, and the second was a baby in comparison, being a mere 1,094 grams of pure gold. The estimated value is about 10 million and 4 million US dollars. The coins were originally minted for the Mughal emperors Jahangir, son of Akbar the Great, in 1613, and his son Shah Jahan, best known for building the Taj Mahal in 1639, and were presented to the highest dignitaries. The 1000 muhurs was huge at 8 inches in diameter, and over the centuries 4 or 5 were mentioned as being reserved for the ambassadors of the powerful rulers of Persia. Only one comparable coin is recorded from a plaster cast in the British Museum, a 200 muhurs, last reported in India in 1820 and since lost. None of the legendary giant gold muhurs are known to have survived to this day, and it is suspected they were melted down for their bullion value. But we know they did exist because travellers mentioned seeing gigantic coins in the treasury of Shah Jahan. Okay, I'm going to end the video here, and as I said at the beginning, apologies for the displacing sure that I've got enough memory in my phone to be able to make the video all as one. I'm also wondering if anyone's got any opinions on whether I should be continuing to show the books or have the camera on me and just read the books. I don't know what would be people's preferences. If you've got any preferences, let me know.